Episode 3. Episode 3, we're flying through it now. Another big week of college football, and I'm joined by my two amazing hosts, Lauren, all the way from Florida, the major Gator. Gators coming off a big win as well, so unfortunately, we can't really slag the result this week.
That, unfortunately.
Oh, just see the smile. I can see the smile. Yeah, the big Florida win. Yeah, the Gators win. FSU suck. Yeah, I can see it all now.
Mhm.
And of course, Sammo from the UK. So we're here, episode 3, and the storylines are just getting bigger. Obviously, things are getting more tense now as we approach the playoffs. The results, the wins, the losses mean a bit more. And that's obvious by the major storyline of Lane Kiffin moving from Ole Miss to LSU. Is it all about the money? Like, there's so many different reports. He released a statement, and now Ole Miss are coming out and dismissing the statement. The players, the locker room, they're saying it's all a bunch of waffle. 90 million, 100 million, these kind of numbers being thrown around there. Like, is this a money move? LSU probably have more resources. Like, Lane Kiffin is just stealing every headline in college football this weekend, and deservedly so. Why is he gone? And
It's got to
why
be
is he
money.
leaving? Why? I mean, 100 million is tempting for anybody, but why is he leaving before the end of the season? I mean, is that not a bit of a stab in the back to your college organization and to your entire school, that you're just kind of bailing out before the season ends?
Well, that's the whole thing, is that he wanted to finish. He was going to leave no matter what. He was going to go, but he did say, like, I'll never make a decision based off of money. I mean, whether I choose to believe him or not, I don't know if I believe him now. That, I mean, at 91 million, 7-year deal, like, he's getting more than Brian Kelly, which is LSU's former coach. But, like, it can't just be about money, because Florida was willing to give him the same amount. And Ole Miss was willing to do a lot to get him to stay. Like, they were extending his contract and they were trying to give him a lot more money. I fully think that he is just trying to prove that he can win anywhere. And maybe he thinks that he can win a national championship with LSU, but the thing about LSU is, if you don't win a national championship in the first 2 to 3 years, like, you're fired. They want you gone. Like, they expect that. Like, he needs to be in the playoffs next season with LSU, or they're going to consider it a bad hire. I really don't think that all of it had to do with money, because every school was willing to give him kind of the same amount. And I do kind of slightly agree that a little bit would have to do about, like, his family and everything. But some of it, maybe some of it was money. But I know that Oxford was willing to give him a lot. But they shouldn't let him coach in the offseason. Like, I don't think that it would be fair. It's like, your LSU is a big rival of Ole Miss. And to his players to know that he is going to leave them when they are done in the postseason, whether they win or lose, that he's leaving. So, like, I probably wouldn't really trust him, because, like, what he doesn't really have a horse in the race. He doesn't really care. Like, whether he wins or loses, he's gone and getting 91 million from LSU no matter what. So I wouldn't want to be coached by him. And I think that their athletic director, Keith Carter, made the right choice in not only hiring their next coach, Coach Golding, but also not letting him coach. But then he threw a temper tantrum and he told his staff, if you're not on this plane to Baton Rouge tomorrow, like, you're never going to be hired by me. And he took like 4 or 5 guys. But I'm like, it's also like, you loved Oxford with everything, and like, you wanted to give everything for Ole Miss, and like, say that you still respect them, but then you're trying to take away their coaches that they need for the playoff. So it's like, he gets mad, and it's like the analogy that I've seen is like a dad cheating on his wife, but then the mom doesn't let him stay for Christmas, even though the kids want him to. Like, she's making me leave now.
Wow.
That's like the analogy that I've seen. And it's pretty accurate, honestly. I don't think he deserves to coach a team that he's abandoning, and he stabbed in the back.
I think there's a lot more to this, though, guys. I think you got to look at it from 2 sides now. If you were talking about this 2-3 years ago, you'd be like, "What is going on?" It's a it couldn't be any more of a business now. We're in a whole new world, and cue up the music from Aladdin, get it sorted, right? Because that's where we're at right now with college football. And 91 million. If you don't win a championship, you're gone. All right. I'll sleep on my hammock of millions. Do you know what I mean? Because that's just what it is, and it's a business. It'll still have probably a good reputation, in a sense of being a good coach, that someone else will give him another try and top up his millions. I think the trouble is now you're getting it twofold. You got players decommitting from programs because of the coaching changes. You've got people decommitting because of money. Coaches seeing maybe not just a bigger program, bigger bank accounts. So for this move, as much as there are people saying there's a snake in the grass and, maybe he should have done this a bit later on and could have had discussions maybe outside of the big lights, I can't blame the guy. I can't. And they've reported, is it 25 million they've got to spend on players for this LSU program?
I think the cap was like 20 to 25 million in NIL.
I mean, he can build it. What an opportunity to build something there as well. And in already a big program, I get it. Ole Miss isn't no sort of scrub, shall we say. Obviously, it's a great place to coach, but I think this is a top opportunity that probably ticks a lot of boxes for him as an individual right now.
This is a high profile coaching move, obviously. And we've seen in the past, like, players transferring and stuff. But I mean, we touched on loyalty. It was something that Lauren cared a lot about. We touched on it previously in the podcast. I mean, where does this leave college football? Because the thing is, I mean, it just feels, as you said, it's money, it's business, but like, it feels now that it's stepping into almost like an NFL style system where like loyalty is out the window, and like, the more money you have, the rich get richer. Like, so the big schools can just drag in the better coaches, the better players, and it feels like college football is like it's stepping into dangerous territory. I mean, is this felt in America? Is there some people kind of saying like, hey, we need to actually address what's happening here? Like, why can a coach just walk away from a team when the season's not done? Like that to me just seems a bit ridiculous. And as you mentioned earlier, like, it was a bit like, hop on this plane now or else. I mean, these kind of ultimatums are just ridiculous for I mean, these are college players. Like, it feels a bit like the NFL right now.
It's professional. It's professional. They're playing professional sports. As soon as you start getting paid, you're a pro.
Yeah.
In my eyes. And you start putting money into it, you have to be cutthroat. You're talking about that. You got to be now looking out at you. You're not looking out for anyone else at this point. That's what happens, unfortunately, especially within American sports where it is so cutthroat. You're only looking out for you. Players are going to do the same now. You could have a storming season. You could have been there. The whole organization or program is obviously building something around you, and then you going to go on the transfer portal. That. So it's going to work both ways, and as I say, it's a professional setup. I just feel the bit that we're missing, that still is there, is you are part of the university. They are giving you an education. So you, from a coach, you are still a teacher. So if you took away sport right now, imagine you're there trying to get through like some sort of like degree, and that one person, that tutor, has been getting you through, pushing you through, improving, and then they just boom out the door. That's the killer bit to me, I think. So some players will be let down in their development because they've developed via a coach or via a certain program, and that gets blown up within a minute because someone offers them millions. That's the bit that I think is probably more concerning than anything.
It is, and it's definitely, I view it as like pretty much professional too now, because I was seeing a lot of players in their NIL, like, they can get paid more. They are getting paid more than NFL athletes. Like, they can get like 4 million in NIL, and there'll be someone in the NFL who's getting like 200,000. Like, that's what they're getting paid. Like, that's nothing. And I do see it. Like, the thing is that this was the most coaches fired in a football season. And like, I'm just like looking at the carousel in general, like the different people going everywhere. I mean, Kentucky and USF and Colorado State, Michigan State, Auburn, LSU, Florida, like and Arkansas, Penn State, like everywhere had their coach leave or were fired. And most of them were fired. UCLA, Stanford, everyone had someone that was leaving. But the thing is like, you're exactly right with like that analogy is like the tutor, but it's also when there's a good opportunity, like, for example, I feel like our coach that we hired, John Summerall, he's leaving Tulane, but we're letting him finish it out. Like, if he goes to the playoffs, he's allowed to continue to do that because we have class. And He's also allowed to play against North Texas on Friday. Like, we're letting him continue to do that, but he's leaving that program better than he found it. And he's also doing it like with grace. Like, they're very much like, it's happy for him because Florida is a better job than Tulane is. And like, everyone knows that. It's the SEC compared to the American. And the way that he did it was like, okay, Alex Golish left USF to go to Auburn. Again, very much okay. Does it with class. Going from a group of 5 team to the SEC, like Alex Golish and Johnson Monroe are doing the same thing. The thing that makes Lane so controversial is the fact that he trolled all of college football, all of social media for 2 months, and people would ask him about it. Every single question that a reporter would ask him on the sideline had to do with where he was going to be coaching next season, and he talked around it. But then he would post like very like cryptic things on social media all the time because he thinks it's funny. And now, I don't know if you guys have seen this, like all of the things coming out about him that like he was saying and doing while he was at Ole Miss, and like now people are dropping the receipts. We're calling it the Lanestein files. Like, they are dropping these receipts, and there are so many things on him. So now I'm kind of like, maybe a bullet was dodged. But overall, his storyline is so big because he is a really big coach, and he has coached so many places though. And that also just feels like weird to me, like the loyalty factor. Like I said, like he has coached at so many schools, and he leaves or he's fired, but he like has not. Ole Miss is the longest that he'd ever been with the program, and he did a 180 with it, and then just drops him on their back.
But
You said about the players, because it's interesting that they come out and said obviously his statement and all the replies from the players off the back of that, where it just we come back to loyalty again. I think they're saying those players being let down, because it's just like, hold on, that's not what was said in the meeting. It's not trolling at this point, it's just outright lying. So that's probably the only thing that we'll probably end up talking about down the line, because I wonder how many players don't choose LSU because of the question marks around him. Longevity, does he tell the truth? Are you actually going to get what you're supposed to get out of him? The only thing you'll probably be able to get guaranteed is your money, and that's where we then get into dangerous territory.
Yeah, I mean, he is a good coach, like to coach under, but he's also just like, he's like a loose cannon. Like, you really don't know what he's gonna do. And today was signing day, so making sure that they were going, like a lot of the recruits, he was recruiting when he was at Ole Miss too. Like, he was trying to tell his guys to come to LSU. And so now we're like waiting to see like what guys hit the portal, because they have like the way that the NCAA works now is they have like X amount of time to go into the portal after their coach is hired. It's like 30 days. And then January 2nd is when it officially like opens.
Mm-hmm.
Is it unreasonable for college football to implement a rule where coaches cannot leave the schools in the middle of a season? I mean, is that like, it's different for players because these players are playing for their livelihoods. They're playing for, the upcoming draft. They need tape. They need game time. They need reps and downs and practice. So like, I understand players transferring in the portal mid-season, whatever, but like, it just seems a bit ridiculous for a coach to just step aside. And as you said, he was playing games. The most coaches, ever just leaving. Is there? Should there? It feels just like tampering. Like, it feels like tampering. Like, it's like because the coach in question. Let's just use Lane Kiffin as an example. Like, he's kind of messing around. It's like more than 2 schools. It's the school he's leaving. It's the school he does eventually join. But then it's other schools like Florida were heavily linked to him as well. So like, it just feels a little bit like it just feels like childish. It's like a kind of playground rule thing. Coaches, Lane Kiffin's like memeing on Twitter. It's like, what are we doing here?
Windows. Get a window in. I think a couple of windows.
It has to be regulated. It has to be regulated.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's just like it's lawless territory now.
Yeah, I think like a rule could help, but it's also like, if he's going to leave either way, like say it was the same thing. Say that reports came out that he was going to go to LSU, but he had to stay with Ole Miss. Like, it's the same thing. Like, I wouldn't want him to. Like, I know that my coach is not loyal. I know that my coach doesn't really care what goes on because, like I said, he doesn't have a horse in the race. He's leaving this program next season. He doesn't really care what happens to it after. Like, sure, he should. That's morally the right thing, that he should care about the program that he has built up for the past 5 or 6 seasons, but he doesn't have to. And like, as a player that you trusted your coach for so long, and knowing that they're just going to pack up and leave no matter how this game turns out, I wouldn't want him there.
Yeah.
It's
Speaking
tough.
of coaches on the move, Florida Gators. This is an unofficial Florida Gator support network right here. John Sumrall joins the Gators, flies into Florida on a private jet. Speaking of the ridiculousness of the carousal, Sumrall flies into private jet. He joins the Gators from Tulane. He actually has a pretty good record. He has very, very strong winning records at previous schools. But entering the SEC it's a bit of a different beast. Certainly, it's a step up from Tulane. Lauren, I'm sure you got some opinions on this. The blue and orange were out for John Sumrall. Is he the right guy to take Florida in the right direction?
I believe he is. I at first was not happy about it. I found out about the news on Saturday night, and I was pissed because I did not want a Group of 5 coach. I did not want a repeat of Sunbelt Billy. Like, I wanted Lane Kiffin. I was the conductor of the Lane train. No one wanted him more than me. No one believed in him more than me. And when I saw that he was going to go to LSU, I was heartbroken. I also felt a little betrayed, as if he had promised me that he was coming here or something. But then I saw that it was going to be John Sumrall, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I'm going to drive into a light post. I was so mad. I was so irritated. It honestly ruined the win for me. Like, we had just beat FSU, and I was like, no, I don't care. Beating FSU is everything to me. But then I see that we're hiring another Group of 5 coach. Like, whatever. I don't care now. I'm just in a bad mood. And then I started to do my research, and I went on a podcast on Sunday. And the more that I talked about him and the more that I read about him, you know, my mind was starting to change, and it was starting to alter, because as a Florida fan and a Florida student, and, you know, part of Gator Nation is like, I'm going to believe in our coach until he gives me reason not to. Like, I will embrace him and I will support him and believe in him until I am given reason not to. And I will not have that reason for at least another year. And then I was at the press conference on Monday, and I've been telling people, like, there's just some people who, when they talk, you believe them. And everything he was saying, I believed him. Like, he took over that room, and he was very, very good at presenting himself. He admired his previous programs a lot and thanked them, had a lot of admiration for them and his family. And the way that he talked about being a Florida Gator, you can tell that he really wants to, and he is very proud to be one, because it's great to be a Florida Gator. And he has a good, you know, record. I think it's 42-11 in the last 4 seasons. And look at what he's done with Tulane, like being able to take them to what could be a college football playoff spot. And that's huge for Tulane. That's not heard of. That's not a thing ever. And so I have changed my mind that I do like him, and I think it's a really good hire. And I'm excited to see what he does, and the people that he's bringing Dave Caldwell in as the general manager. Like, we officially hired him, and it'll be interesting who our offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator will be. There's a lot of players that I think it's important that we retain them, and there are ways that he can do that. So as long as he does that and he has a good ball game going, you know, a year from now, I'll be happy. But until given reason not to, I'm going to support him, and I really do like him.
You're truly indoctrinated into the Gator way of life. Just believe.
Oh, yeah.
Just believe.
I'm going
I think
to
it's nice to see him.
We got the number 1, number 2. Like, Ole Miss wanted him. John Sumrall was LSU's next pick if they didn't get Lane Kiffin. He was Kentucky and Auburn's number 1 pick. So as much as I don't like our athletic director, Scott Strickland, I think that he completely bombed the Kiffin hire, but that's a whole other thing. I do like the fact that we got John Sumrall, because he was a very sought after coach. So I'm happy with that too.
He's proof in a bit of rebuilding as well. Like, he's a good project coach. We like the term project here in the UK, like, and trust the process, as it were. So I'd probably say the same here right now. Obviously, in him, if you look at his history, I think probably suggests he's not just coming in and jumping into like a winning team and bounces around like that. I think he's gonna probably put you guys in the best place. He might not be the person that gets you over the line, but I think he might actually be the coach that actually puts the program back where you probably want it to be. Mm-hmm. That someone else might take it over the line potentially, but I think he puts the proper foundations into it, and you might be a little bit happier and less looking forward to me and Bernard obviously getting involved to just ripping the Gators program all the way through.
Well, I mean, the whole time that I've been a student here, I was used to losing because of Billy Napier. So I was so happy that he
only ways up.
Celebrate one more Napier Day. October 19th. That's a national holiday for me now.
Nice.
Speaking of the results, Florida big win over FSU. Obviously, last weekend was what's known in America as rivalry week. It's where traditionally games played within two major schools, usually within the same state, or at least major rivalry games. For example, Florida FSU, two major Florida schools. Texas against Texas A&M, obviously in Texas. And equally around the country in America, you have these major bowl games. And Florida, FSU, we spoke about it last week. Despite Florida's, it's been a poor season, let's be honest, with a lot of uncertainty at the quarterback position and many other positions around the roster. But Lauren said that the Florida season will be saved if they beat FSU. So, Lauren, is beating FSU and a new head coach, like, are the Gators back? Will we expect some playoff football next season?
It's too early for me to say. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to be, as much as I would like to be like, hell yeah, we're back. Like, we beat FSU. I mean, FSU sucks. Like, FSU's always sucked. They suck. Horrible school, horrible football team, horrible sports. Florida owns them in every single sport. But
wow.
I mean, our record is just 4-8 now, so like that's not super awesome. But then the same day we get a good coach. So I don't want to sit and be like, we're so back. Like, let's go, and be, overly optimistic. But I will say that I have faith in this program for the first time in a long time. So I'm going to take the win of the coach, the actual literal win of beating the worst school in Florida, and I'm going to sit with it and be happy with it. And like I said before, like, I'm going to support John Summerall, and I want to be able to say, like, we're 100% back. But I also believe in a jinx, so I can't say that. But I do think that good things are coming for this program for sure.
Nice to see. It's nice to see that you ending the season with a high. It's nice to see you smiling this week as well. So it's good. It's good.
Instead of feeling crushed, beaten down to a pulp. That's how I always felt.
Other major playoff implications, obviously Ohio State, the best team, the best college team in the nation. They have to be. They've gone into their major bowl game against Michigan, come out. It's known as the game, actually. Interesting enough, most bowl games have names attached to them. But this one, which Ohio State fans and also Michigan fans equally love to call it, the only game in American sports that doesn't even have a name. It's called The Game. Ohio State in the snow, kind of just actually destroying Michigan. It wasn't a particularly close game. I know you guys are high on Mendoza for Heisman. I just don't see it. I think Julian Sayin is an unbelievable quarterback. Granted, he does have a way better team around him. I think Sayin looks really good right now. And Ohio State just walked Michigan. They're the number one team in the playoffs in the seeds, and they haven't changed. They're still unbeaten. I just don't think anybody can really knock them off this year.
I don't know. I don't think they've been as clean cut as people are saying. Like, they're not saying that they're not a good side. If we're talking about style points as well, if you look at like how they're playing, I don't think it's like, you wouldn't look at the tape and go, we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Not from previous years. And if I look at back at some of their, like, the wide receiver core, how many times do we see that picture of Marvin Harrison Jr., Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba, all of them all lined up there? It's not that. It's not the same. So yes, it's still a good program. I just don't think they're as good as people are saying.
I agree. And I'm like looking at some of the stats, and I mean, they beat Michigan, yes, 27-9, but Ohio State beat Purdue 34-10. Indiana beat Purdue 56-3. The difference there is ridiculous. I mean, that's playing the same team, and Ohio State just put up one more touchdown against a really, really bad Purdue team. One more touchdown against them than they did to Michigan. Granted, they held Michigan to not score. They didn't do that with Purdue. And Indiana, playing Purdue with Mendoza as quarterback, puts up 56 points. He had like 4 or 5 touchdowns. But Ohio State did not do that when they played a really bad team. They go and play a really good team, and they don't play bad. They hold them. But at the same time, if you compare those games, Indiana dog walked Purdue. Like 56-3 is embarrassing. But
the term belt to arse comes to mind when you said that before. So that is.
I look. I'm not anti Mendoza. I love an underdog story. I love what Indiana are doing. I just can't get on this hype train of like Mendoza being Heisman. I've been reading some stats recently. I'm a big numbers guy, especially when it comes to American sports. Mendoza's season I saw compared to let's just say kind of major Heisman winners in the past 10 years. Obviously Kyler Murray, Baker, Joe Burrow in 2019. And like Mendoza's numbers are just nowhere near that. Okay, fair enough. It's just a weaker Heisman class in general. There's no real kind of like unbelievable standout. But I just don't see why it would have to go to a quarterback just for the sake of being a quarterback. What Mendoza's doing with Indiana is great, but his numbers are just not good enough. Like, I mean, comparatively speaking, compared to the other kind of those elite quarterbacks who've gone number one in the draft and just walked the Heisman, like Mendoza's just, I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
I mean, Sand just hasn't had to do anything. Like, he just has not had to work that hard. And he's lucky that he has a really good offense that he can work with. I mean, just look at the people that he has on his team. You put Jeremiah Smith out there, everything is going to be caught. Obviously, he makes him look good easily. He makes him look good. They have two of the best wide receivers in the country, and they're going to make him look outstanding. But Indiana has had real I mean, they beat Oregon 30-20. Mm-hmm. They beat Penn State 27-24. Like, they beat good teams, and they beat, Iowa. Iowa's still ranked right now. They beat Michigan State. They have had to work slightly harder. Again, it's not the same conference, but he has put up numbers against multiple teams where he had to work for it. Meanwhile, Julian Sand has, like I just said, wide receivers who make him look good every single week without having to really try that hard. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm not discrediting him. He is a very good quarterback, and I guess he can be in contention for the Heisman, but Mendoza, in my opinion, deserves it far more.
I always ask this question as well. Out of those, who would go number one overall in the draft at NFL? And I don't see it being anyone but Mendoza. Out of those. And that's where I think the Heisman, there's still part of that in the back of the mind when it comes to decision makers. Because you couldn't have a Heisman winner fall down to like potentially 6th, 7th round pick. Or not round, but pick overall. It was Mendoza between probably actually more between Mendoza and Dante Moore to go first or second in terms of QBs off the board. And I actually think it will be Mendoza. So I think plays a big part of it.
I'm so excited for this Indiana-Ohio State game on Saturday. Like, I am so excited, and I'm going to call it right now. I really, knock on wood, really hope that this does not jinx Mendoza, but he is going to put up numbers against Ohio State.
And clip this right. We're clipping this right now. We're clipping this right now, and we'll get back to you on Saturday.
And if I'm wrong, then I'll eat my words. But I really do think that he's the better quarterback. I know that Indiana's defense is a little iffy sometimes. That's the only thing, but I think that they're. I mean, I'm gonna predict like a low scoring game, but I overall think that Mendoza is going to be able to get the job done.
Yeah.
Other playoff implication games, obviously, in Texas, the Texas Longhorns beating A&M, A&M's first loss of the season, and they have slipped out of the top 4. I am an Arch Manning fan. I'll go out and say that. I mean, like, the Manning second name carries its own kind of weight and legacy and stuff like that. But he came in and he was just immediately criticized because he wasn't looking like a Heisman in his first college game ever. But he's led Texas on a bit of a comeback. They're kind of on the fringes of the playoff scenario right now. But A&M losing their first game, and in my rankings that I've read, they've dropped down to 7th. I just have just on that, and I've spoken to different people, especially Americans who are into college sports, about this. Like, people seem very, very confused and a bit disillusioned with the whole ranking system. They think it's unfair. They think like teams, and I think it's weighed against who you win, like who you beat, who you lose to, the strength of your schedule, for example. I think all these things are considered, right? So like, they'll always say like, oh, the 1-loss team, 2-loss team, and whatever, they're ranked above. But like, if A&M lose one game, like, and you drop 3, 4, 5 spots, is that justifiable at the top level of college rankings?
I'm okay with where A&M ended up. I wanted them to win. I'm not a huge Texas fan whatsoever. I mean, I'm not an A&M fan either, but I don't think, I mean, Arch he's played in games before. He played in college games last season. Like, he started in games last season when Quinn Ewers was hurt. Like, it was just that this year everyone thought that he was going to be really great, and he wasn't, and that's why I call him the mid Manning. But I guess he has started to
Wow.
he has started to step up, and he's starting to look like what people expect him to be. But I mean, he chose the end of the season to do it. The biggest controversy that I've seen right now is like Texas and Vanderbilt being left out, and I think that Vanderbilt deserves to be in more than Texas. Yes, Texas did just beat the no loss team of Texas A&M, but Vanderbilt has very, very significant wins, and Texas lost to us. Texas lost to Florida. Like, that's embarrassing. They lost to Florida when they were, I think, ranked 7. They were 7, and we sucked, and we beat them. And that you should not get to be in the playoffs if you lost to Florida. Yes, we beat Texas A&M, and that's awesome. But Vanderbilt is just an all-around really, really good team. There's a reason that Diego Pavia is in the talks for the Heisman as well. I think he's a really, really fantastic player. And I don't know if you saw this, but recently the 5-star quarterback was committed to Georgia and flipped, and he's committing to Vanderbilt now. So that says a lot about that program, and I think that you could very clearly come up with an argument for them of why they deserve to be in it. I think that they deserve to be in it more than Miami, to be quite honest with you, but we'll see how that plays out.
Is that just not a whole... We seem to be talking about quite a few things here that maybe needs a bit of a reshuffle and a rethink about college football in general, right? If there's going to be so much money involved, and you can have those implications where you're not suddenly in the playoffs when really your record suggests that you should be, how you've played, who you've played against suggests that you've been the better team as well, and it's on paper, and now it's going to have implications in money and where those players go, then something needs to be looked at and addressed at some point. The problem you're always going to have, though, is that those sort of style points between who you've played and your schedule, and who you did beat. To your point, though, Lauren, like you said, if you're beating them, why are they there?
Yep.
That's not the pro shade. It is just generally at that point you look at it.
You're right.
Yeah. That's kind of like one of the points there. On your point to Arch Manning as well. I mean, I for one just think that he's been overhyped too soon. Like,
definitely,
people shouldn't. His name shouldn't have been in people, like, in the nicest possible way. His name shouldn't have been in people's mouths this year. It should have just been, oh, Arch Manning's playing. Cool. We'll follow it. Let's just see how he gets on. Next year is where you need to be seeing if that hype is actually the truth, like, and see where he's at. Otherwise, he is basically, I don't know if you still get Wish over in America, but yeah, he's just basically a cheap version of the Mannings. It is very much that, is for sure. Like, it's straight from Timu. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's where he is at the moment. He's got to prove himself, like, right, because I do worry about Mini Manning, because he's going to be forced to be in a top, like, team when he does eventually declare and get to drop, because they will pick where he goes. I do worry, and I can really see him not being in any league if the way his trajectory is at the moment. It's not looking good. Personally.
He was really, really, really hyped up, and I think that maybe it got to his head. And I mean, DJ Lagway for the Gators was also extremely hyped up. It was like Arch Manning and DJ Lagway, who's going to win the Heisman, and they both come out starting the season looking like ass. Like, no one thought that they were going to. Like, everyone was shocked. Everyone was shocked. Like, they did the unthinkable and sucked. And yes, Texas has started to look a lot better. At least Arch has gotten a lot better. I think that, as much as it pains me to say, I do think he's a better quarterback than DJ now. But he finally got his act together. But like I said, it just took the end of the season. And I know that there's a lot of weight when your last name is Manning, but, like, live up to it then. You had the best coaches. You grew up with the best coaches sitting across from you at Thanksgiving dinner. You opened presents from the best players, the best quarterbacks, okay? There's no reason that you cannot be great too. Like, you had everything at your fingertips. They probably taught you how to drive, like, help, they've been around him his entire life. They know him. He's little Archie to them. Like, they were there, and in my opinion, maybe this is, like, mean. There's no excuse for him to not be great. There really isn't.
Time next season. He's still young. And
I don't care.
like just because you grew up with the eating turkey with Eli Manning doesn't mean you should be like slinging the football with incredible accuracy.
Yes.
Like
watched his uncle Eli play in the Giants and play on the Giants and watch those games. He knows exactly what is supposed to happen. I don't know. For me, there's just like not really an excuse in my opinion. Like there's no coach and there's no extra training that you can get that you cannot get when you don't go to your family group chat and text them and ask.
Fair.
That's my 2 cents on it. I don't know. I don't think that. I think that Vanderbilt does deserve to be in the playoffs more than Texas does, though.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Diego Pavia has earned it, and I think Clark Lee is a fantastic coach. I think that Diego Pavia is a really, really great quarterback. I mean, that win this past weekend against Tennessee alone, I mean, that was a belt-to-ass game. That was gorgeous. I hate Tennessee, but it was also just like the performance from everybody on Vanderbilt's team was sensational. And to win in Knoxville, to win at Tennessee's home at Neyland Stadium, that's insane. And to do it the way that they did, that is talent. That is genuine performance. Texas and Vanderbilt both got really good wins this weekend. And I know that Texas took down Texas A&M and they were undefeated. They took away that streak. But for some reason, that Vanderbilt game just looked better for a lot of reasons. But Diego Pavia's performance is why he is in Heisman contention and why Vanderbilt should be in the playoffs more than Texas.
Yeah. And I think just one interesting point, maybe for UK and European listeners looking to get into college, like if you look at if you take a quick look at the college football playoff rankings right now, you'll notice Ole Miss. I mean, I know we kind of dove deep into the whole Lane Kiffin storyline, but like you'll see Ole Miss, they're top 5, top 10, they're 6th on the latest ranking that I've seen. So I mean, you're looking at one of the best school programs currently this season. And then you'd look down the list and you don't even see LSU actually currently ranked. So like maybe just to give a brief explanation as to why a major storyline is involving a coach going to a team that's actually currently unranked. Like why would a head coach leave a really good team, a currently ranked team, lose out on essentially like playing in the college football whole playoffs? Why would he step away from that and just join an unranked team?
Can I just interject before Lauren gives the full picture here, right? If you're going to talk about like the UK and European scene and people getting into the sport here, I'm going to use a bit of a football piece. Right now, Sunderland are 6th in the league at the moment in the Premier League. Okay, so you're the manager of Sunderland. But then Liverpool, who are absolute trash at the moment, right? They're going to get rid of their manager. Would you leave Sunderland to go to Liverpool? Of course you would. Of course you would. It's the big superior team, big superior club. Well renowned. Even if people have never really watched college football, I bet you they'd still recognise the LSU's like jersey. They'd see it. That purple pops. Like they'd notice it. And think the Ole Miss is seen and people know about it. I just think that it's just that opportunity to go for something that is big. Like it is huge. Like it's just that opportunity to go and do that. And money. That's all I'm saying. Full stop. Money.
And LSU has also just always been an established and respected program. Like they have always produced wins. Yeah. This year is one of their worst seasons that I've personally seen. I mean, 2 weeks ago they beat West Kentucky University by 3 points. That's awful. That's terrible. That looked really, really bad. And they lost to Oklahoma. They lost to Alabama. They barely beat Arkansas. Like right now, they're not looking like the LSU that, their fan base and college football as a whole is used to seeing. And so that is something of note, like just to kind of keep in mind for someone who is like getting into it. Like this is normally very typically a respected program. And you go to LSU and you expect to win. You watch an LSU game and you expect to see a fight on the field every time. Not like a physical fight, like, a hard fought game. And they have always been like that. And I know that that's definitely the reason that Lane Kiffin did ultimately probably decide to go to LSU over Florida. And that's because Ole Miss was not seen as that. And it didn't become seen as that until Lane Kiffin went there and turned that program around and made it become extremely respected. And, that, like we said, they're in the playoffs now. They are in the playoffs and they are ranked, and it's the first time that they've had an 10-11 win season ever. And that's because of Lane Kiffin. And, to take that and then just kind of throw it away, in the sense that is what he's doing, but he's also kind of climbing off of what he has done at Ole Miss. Does he have the chance to go in a national championship with Ole Miss? No, I really don't think so. I don't see them beating other teams in the playoffs to go and win the national championship. They wouldn't beat Ohio State. They didn't beat Texas A&M already. I don't think that they could beat Texas Tech, and I don't think that they could actually beat Notre Dame. I don't think that they could. So there's a lot of teams that I don't think that they would be able to actually compete against. But like we said, it's a matter of kind of using the team that you've built as a stepping stone. This whole time he was just building stairs, and now he's stepping up to go to another school that has already been respected and a renowned team for years now, and Ole Miss hasn't. It just now did because of him.
So just an off season for LSU, and they'll be back alongside the Gators next season.
Yep. We got us.
So I think just maybe to wrap up episode 3. So we are now into December. The November madness is over. December means that the playoffs are rolling around. So just to remind the listeners, the rankings does include 25 teams, but only 12 of those teams actually enter the playoffs. So if you're looking at the rankings, you want to make sure you're looking at the top 12 specifically. The top 4 go through automatically, and then the rest of it is all seeded. So 1 to 4 will go through. They get essentially a bye through the first round of playoffs, and then seed number 5 will play seed number 12, and so on. So the playoffs will be beginning in about just over 2 weeks' time. So the season is coming to an end. What are we expecting to see in the playoffs? It's obviously a little bit tense. It's similar to the NFL. Obviously, it's win or go home. Can we expect fireworks, upsets, closer games? Are they high scoring games? Are they, because you're really just nailing down the college scene to the elite of the elite, the best schools, the best programs, the best players, the players who go on to be first round draft picks. What can we expect to see with the playoffs just around the corner?
I'm going to say that now that college football playoffs is 12 teams and not 4, which I like 4 better, sorry, I just do. Now that it's that, you have the chance of seeing the group of 5 team that's let in, which, God bless Tulane and Summerall. But if they get let in and they have to play Oregon, they're done. If they get in and they have to play Ole Miss, they're done. It's not going to be, that's the part that I don't like, is they have to have that group of 5 team. They have to have that ACC, but also Miami could probably put up a fight against Oregon. I don't think that they would beat Ole Miss, but if it that group of 5 team though, that's what I just don't like, is I don't care to watch bad football. Include everybody, inclusion. What, are they gonna have their feelings hurt? No, only have good teams. If this is where I get really frustrated, is if Tulane gets in and Vanderbilt doesn't, that's ridiculous. And that's only going to happen because Tulane wins their conference. Look at who's in their conference. That's not good football. Vanderbilt plays good football. Even Texas, Tulane getting to be in it, or North Texas getting to be in it, when Texas and Vanderbilt have had to work their butts off every single game. And granted, Texas didn't do it as much because, again, they lost to Florida. That's really bad on them. Vanderbilt deserves to be in it more than they do. And somehow Texas is ranked above Vanderbilt when Vanderbilt has 2 notable, very hard-fought losses when Texas doesn't. Texas has more losses and they have it to worse teams. So I expect to see a lot of, depending on who gets in, it's going to be some really bad, but kind of maybe funny to watch football for the first few minutes, for the first few games. And then once you get into the nitty gritty of Indiana, Ohio State, Texas Tech, and Georgia, that's going to be really fun. I'm excited to see if this is how it works out. If it stays the way that it is, it would be a Notre Dame, Texas A&M rematch, which that could be really cool. I don't think that a lot of these games are going to be super high scoring though, but it depends on what defense is matched up with each offense. So it's good. I love college football. This is the best time. And like I said, the first 2 games are a little but it'll be interesting nonetheless.
what a chance though for some of those sort of smaller programs to come and show up. And what I'm saying about that is not just the players, it's that university turning up. Like, is that a chance because they don't get to do it that often? Hey, let's make the most of it. Let's create an
Maybe.
atmosphere. Sometimes that does cause an upset. You know, can you bring the crowd noise? That, you know, we do know in this sport it does play a part at times, right? You know, so if they can obviously bring that heat, I think it's good for everyone. I think college football, unfortunately, for the traditionalists, should we say, that would like actually love this, the purists, as it were, it's about to change. We're already seeing it, and I think we'll be talking about a completely different dynamic in another 2 years' time.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
and that's just where we're at. I, for one, for anyone new getting into it, really exciting time. I think like to obviously see that more opportunities to maybe pick and choose a team right now. Lauren obviously explained what it means to people in the States and why you may really choose your team. But because we're saying it's becoming more of a professional sort of setup, we're going to see people wearing college jerseys all around the globe soon, and they'll be picking it for certain reasons. And it might happen because of these playoffs. Who knows?
Yeah.
So I think there's a big opportunity for a lot of people right now. And yeah, hopefully, yeah, we just see some good football because yeah, no one wants to see a bad game of football. No one wants to have a snore fest. No one wants to be sat around for 3 hours with their head buried in a bucket of popcorn or whatever it is because the game sucks. So, but at least you get to drink during the games.
That is the plus.
So yeah, I mean, look, there's plenty to look forward to. I mean, once we nail this entire season down into 12 teams, you're looking at the best of the best. We will obviously be covering it. We will be covering it every week. The Gators won't be there, but I'm sure Lauren will be able to still give us the best insight into the college football playoff situation. So, guys, I think we'll wrap it up there. Lauren and Sammo, as always, I appreciate you guys joining me, and see you guys next week.
Peace.